77 is the magic year.
Welcome to another episode of Swayscape Podcast. I'm your host, Sway. In this episode, we'd like to discuss briefly the timeline. As you just heard, Chirac is stated 1977. So when it comes to hip-hop, its birth year is still a matter of debate. Mainstream sources commonly marked 1973 as the start, largely crediting DJ Kool Herc's back-to-school jam in the Bronx. Others have suggested different years. 1971, for example, is sometimes mentioned, and there's 1977, which you just heard Chirac briefly mention. We'll get more into that here in a minute. So what's the true origin year? Does it really matter if it was 71, 73, or 77? Perhaps what's most important is the perspective of who helped build this culture. So let's get into it. Let's hear what Chirac has to say about 1977 from her perspective.
Magic year of when the culture of hip-hop culture start coming together. Because you will hear people say, okay, so hip-hop started in 1971 and 1973 and in 1974. Don't believe that, because all the elements of the culture was really not put together and was not celebrated.
So if they're going to use 1977 as the origin year, then by that account, anything that was prior to that, from 77 on prior, are the folks that helped build the culture.
Because even though you had like disco music, and you're going to hear people tell you different, but people that were there, if you had disco music, they were playing disco. Even though we were rhyming to disco music, we weren't allowed to come into the disco area to celebrate or become that B-girl and B-boy. And they were not cutting, and they were not slicing up the music, and they were not doing rhyming like the styles that we may do. When you do a rhyme, you know, you had no bars. You would go. See, there was no such things as 16 bars. You would go until your whoever you was rhyming with know when your rhyme ended. You would continuously go. There was no set limit of when you would stop. So the rhyming format of the disco era was different than the hip hop era. That's why it was different. If you had your disco DJs, yeah, we used the music. That's what made hip hop synonymous, because of the music, the good times, the Cheryl Lynn's that we were using from disco. But the elements and the format of how hip hop was formed was in 77.
1975. Me and Africa Bambaataa it and really catered to the Mario No More and Cool DJ D. Because he felt it's a new era.
Oh, okay.
Bambaataa goes, Bronx still stand, that's what was once was. Bronx still stand is what was once was with Cool DJ D and Mario. Times change. It's a different era.
Okay.
Like anything else in life.
What years you talking about?
I'm talking hip-hop, the true hip-hop started in 1977.
I really need my brother, my man. Just get on the mic and take the man.
Well, Ruby D is my name, and I'm a Puerto Rican. You might think I'm black by the way I'm speaking. I'm sick, I'm happy with a lot of guns. That's the reason I attract all the sweet fly girl. The other reason is style and profile. The makes all the lady know I'm worth the fight. Cause I'm too hot to burn. You go to hold Ruby D's in the place, and you must know that I'm bad. Super bad, always bad, I'm the man. Keep on and rock the house. Come on, let me turn it out.
I am born, my father was born in Puerto Rico, my mother was born here, born in the South Bronx. A lot of house parties, a lot of hanging out, a lot of wilding out. We were all on welfare, got evicted a lot, so we lived all over the Bronx. Got into breaking in 1977 through my cousin Lenny Lynn. He had brought me to a jam.
Disco Wizards in the building. He's another pioneer. The first Latino DJ in the hip hop game, you know. So it's a pleasure to have him up here. He came up in the game with Grandmaster Kaz, and all those brothers. Kaz is a friend of the show. Kaz is a friend of the show. So tell us about the time, man. Tell us about you starting off as a DJ in what, the 1970s?
1975.
1975.
Yeah, but I already lived a life before that.
Talk to us about it.
Okay, hey folks. To say that I am excited about my highly anticipated book, Lee Quinones, 50 Years of New York Graffiti Art and Beyond, is an understatement. I mean, it releases this coming spring, 2024, almost to the month, 50 years ago in 1974, when I picked up my first cans of spray paint and embarked on a mission with a vision. I mean,
If 1977 is going to be used as the origin year, would Latino be considered co-creators of hip-hop since they were active in the culture on or before its origin year? A culture that didn't fully emerge until 1977. To understand this, let's think of the Brooklyn Bridge, a monumental project in New York's history. The bridge took 14 years to build, involving over 600 workers. Imagine joining that project in the 7th year. Does that make you any less a builder of the Brooklyn Bridge? Of course not. Even if you weren't there from the day one, your contribution helped complete something historic. This analogy applies perfectly to hip-hop. If we say, as Shyrock and Green-Eyed Genie do, that hip-hop wasn't fully established until 1977, then those who entered the scene in those later years are still foundational to the culture's creation.